Welcome back to Inferential Academy. In the previous video, we went over inferential statistics and introduced the concepts of population, sample, estimator, and estimate. In this video, we'll be applying those concepts to a very popular example in data science, which is spam detection. So let's say we're doing spam detection. In this case, the population could be all the existing emails in the world. Okay, so what we mean by spam detection is we have an email and we want to know whether the email is a spam email or if it's not a spam email. So the population there could be all the existing emails in the entire world. So this is going to be very large and unobserved. Okay, we're not going to have access to all the emails in the world, of course. But we still have some hope. What we might have is we might have a sample. So we might have, for example, 1,000 emails, and each email is labeled to be spam or ham, which means that it's not spam. So ham just means not spam. And this data is our sample. And we can use the sample to make inference about the population of all emails. I should mention that everything I'm writing in red is related to the population, whereas everything I'm writing in blue is related to the sample. To illustrate the idea of using a sample to do inference on the population, let me draw a diagram that we have seen before. So here we have our population. And within the population we can take a subset, and the subset is the sample, which is in blue. Sample. Okay, so population of all emails, and the subset is the sample of 1,000 emails in our case. So our question is, we want to know the probability of an email being a spam. So that's essentially what we're interested in this case. So now let's discuss what the parameter would be. So from the population, you can get a parameter. And in this case, the parameter P, okay, so P is going to denote the parameter, is going to be essentially the proportion of spam emails in the population. Okay, in other words, P is essentially the true probability of receiving a spam email. If we had all the emails in the world, we could take the number of spam emails, divide by the total number of emails, and we would get P. But we don't have all the emails in the world, so we can't actually compute our parameter P. So from the population, we get access to P. Okay, but we don't have that, we have the sample. So let's see what we can do with the sample. From the sample, we can construct an estimator, which is a statistic, which is a function of the sample that is informative about P. It's not too hard to think about what a good estimator in this case would be that's informative of P. The estimator in this case could be P hat. And P hat is a sample proportion. Sample proportion of spam emails. Okay, so P hat is just a sample portion of spam emails. That means in our sample, we check how many spam emails we have, and we take that number and divide by the total number of emails. That would be P hat, and this estimator would be definitely informative of the population parameter P, which is the probability of getting a spam email. So now let's talk about the estimate. Now the estimate is just the output of our estimator. So the estimator is the function. Once we plug in a specific data point into the estimator, we get the estimate. So in this case, we have some data. We know that 1,000 emails, we have a total of 1,000 emails, and 15 of them are spam. So the estimate, I'm going to denote by P tilde. And essentially, the main key point to notice is that P is a parameter, is different from the estimator. P hat is a function, which is the sample proportion of spam emails. And P tilde is the output of P hat. So P tilde is different from P hat as well. So P tilde is take the number of spam emails, 15, take the total number of emails, 1,000, and we get 1.5%, which would be 0.015. So what this estimate tells us is that for our entire population, given our sample, we infer that the probability of receiving a spam email is 1.5%. So we use a sample to make inference about the population. And p tilde is an estimate, is just an output of the estimator, p hat, which is more generally the function, which is the sample proportion of spam emails. So hopefully everyone sees the difference between estimator and estimate. Estimator is a function itself before you plug in the exact data points, and then the estimate is the output you get after you plug in the data.